he's just tweeted that legendary Yankee broadcaster John Sterling is expected to hold a press conference Friday with retirement a strong possibility, The Athletic has learned. Now, he had not been doing games, Michael, because he was under the weather. But if he's holding a press conference, Andrew's usually on top of stuff.
Why else would you hold a press conference?
So now the question just is he going to finish out the season, or is this it? Now, he's in Toronto, correct,
No,
Michael?
he is not.
He's not.
Well, he wasn't making any road trips other than the first one, and then
So
Baltimore and Citi Field.
So what's after Toronto?
Home. Homestand starts
with an off day Thursday.
Yeah, off day Thursday.
So you're saying, Don, he could literally call next weekend his last series or something, possibly.
I mean, I just hope he does another game. I mean, right, Michael? I mean, you'd hate to hear that he's done and you didn't get a chance to listen.
Well, I am in a very uncomfortable situation because I know exactly what's going on. But out of respect to my friend, I was told not to say anything, so I don't know how Andrew got this. But I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
No, that's all the news.
That's fair. I mean, it's not for you to give us any information. I mean, if he's
I spoke to John.
Right.
He called me on Saturday. And we discussed what this is all about. And he said, please don't tell anybody. And I said, John, this is your story to tell. And I have not told anybody except for Jody. So I didn't even know about a press conference.
Right.
But that's happening Friday, I guess.
So no need to speculate any further. Just as a baseball fan, I hope I get a chance to hear him again. So I hope this is something that he, even if it's his last series, it would give fans 3 games to have their goodbye. I mean, hopefully just Peter rooting, hopefully this is his last season and then you get even more. But we'll see.
Well, we'll take a brief time out. Kendrick Perkins is going to join us at 4:30, so stay tuned for that. We'll take more of your phone calls. Hey, I talk for a living, and whether I'm in the studio or at the bar.
Switch to Square and take charge of your business and your time. Switch to fast setup and even faster checkouts. Switch to making every sale, every way you want, and every way they want too. Switch to one system connecting every tool to every task, even as your business grows. Switch to taking control and taking more free time, whatever that means to you. Make the switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started. Switch to Square and take charge of your business and your time. Switch to fast setup and even faster checkouts. Switch to making every sale, every way you want, and every way they want too. Switch to one system connecting every tool to every task, even as your business grows. Switch to taking control and taking more free time, whatever that means to you. Make the switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started. See everything your store can do with tools from Square. Your inventory automatically restocks, so you never run low. Your online store stays open 24/7, so you're always ready to sell. Your payments are processed in seconds, so customers can breeze through checkout. And with one account to manage it all, you've got more time for taking time out. Get your all-in-one retail system by signing up at square.com today.
Away makes luggage and bags that make packing, compressing, cinching, zipping, sliding, and going easier than ever. Away.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always. So you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
The magical time between school letting out and dinner is a piece of chaos. These 4-serving meals make everything so much easier.
Home Chef's family menu. Get 18 free meals at homechef.com.
Beautiful ladies, loving it. Beautiful family, jealous. Bride, it's the best day of your life. There's that smile. That's a keeper. Let's get the lucky men in here, huh?
Yes.
98.7 ESPN. We're also available on television, Donald. On the
yes,
yeah, on the S Network.
Well, what is Peter saying?
Well, you can consume the show on radio and television.
And also on the app.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought the wonderful ESPN New York.
Yeah. Don, where are we standing with the Rangers now? What has to happen for them to get the President's Cup?
Win. But first of all, it's not a yacht race. It's the President's Trophy.
This is your number one bet. Every non-hockey person messes this up.
I think I've done that year after year, Don.
Yeah, every year.
Every year. And
Why
that's my
is that?
line every year.
Why?
It's not a yacht race.
Because what is the boat race? That's called
President's Cup.
The President's Cup.
Yeah.
I love it.
Win.
They've
Win
got
the
to
game
win.
any way, shape, or form. Get 2 points, you clinch it all.
They're down to one game left.
That's it.
All right.
This is the only game, although the teams that are chasing after, the Carolinas only got one game left. That's, I think, tomorrow or Wednesday against
So is there any way that
Columbus.
they get the Yacht Race Cup if they lose?
That's a great question.
Well, yeah. Well, they can. Well, here's the situation. They've got 112 points.
That was a
So
great game, by the way, on Saturday. So fun.
It was fun, but they didn't play particularly well. But Panarin saved their bacon with that goal with less than 4.5 to play. They were only like, I think, a +1 5-on-5 this season after giving up those couple of goals in the second period. And then he saved their bacon, got them into overtime. And, boy, they were terrific back and forth in overtime. And then, of course, they win in the shootout. They've got 112 points with a game left. Boston's got 109 points with 2 games left.
You don't know.
So they certainly can pass the Rangers with a couple of wins if the Rangers were to lose. And the Rangers have the tiebreaker with Boston, so it would get a little bit different if the Rangers lose, say, in the shootout or in overtime. And then the Carolina Hurricanes, who are 8-2 in their last 10, they won 5 in a row, and they're just a point back of the Rangers, and they got a game coming up against Columbus. So, Michael, if they lose, I think Carolina wins the division, and the Rangers finish in second place and probably take on the Islanders, who control their own destiny with a win against the Devils. And then they got Pittsburgh on Wednesday to clinch up third place in the Metropolitan Division. So, with everything they've done this year, Michael, you don't want to lose at home to Ottawa, who's decimated by injuries, playing out the string. Win, and you clinch it all. Lose, and then you're going to need some help that, quite frankly, you wouldn't deserve if you lost this game.
Now, the Islanders getting that point on Saturday, that goes a long way toward helping them, right?
Yeah, because they are right now 3 points ahead of Washington. They both have 80 games played. Washington has the tiebreaker. So Washington can still catch them, but they're going to have to win out, and the Islanders would have to lose. Philadelphia cannot catch them because they've only got one game left with 87 points. Pittsburgh's got 86. If they win out and the Islanders lose out, that would give Pittsburgh 90 points and the tiebreaker. So Pittsburgh can still catch them for the division third place, and so can Washington. But again, they got a game against the Devils. Devils playing out the string. So Islanders are in really good shape. They played well down the stretch. They had won 6 in a row before losing that game on Saturday. But as you said, they still earned a point. They had a big second period to take the lead. They just couldn't hold on to it thanks to the Panarin goal. So that's what it's set up for, Michael. It's right there for both teams to get all set. Rangers trying to win the conference, win the division, win the President's Trophy, and the Islanders would love to be able to get that 3 seed, and they would have to take on a really, really good Carolina team in the first round. But with 90 points, Michael, I don't think they have much of a kick coming on who they're going to play in the first round.
They just want to get in.
Yeah, exactly.
And, we talked about this at the start. The Knicks won an overtime, only their second overtime game all year. They lost the other one. That was the one to the Spurs when Brunson had 61 points. So they beat the Bulls. They're the number 2 seed. They're waiting to see the play-in winner of the Sixers against the Heat. The winner of that game will play the Knicks starting on Saturday at Madison Square. It's going to be a great 4 days because you've got the Knicks and that winner on Saturday. You've got the Rangers on Sunday. at the Garden. You've got the Knicks on Monday at the Garden, and you have the Rangers on Tuesday at the Garden. That's 4 exhilarating days, so let's hope the teams advance.
Well, that's what we've had. That's what we had in '94, Michael. For people that don't remember, it was every other day. Or every day. One day it was the Rangers, next day it'd be the Knicks. Back and forth for, 2 months? I mean, how much fun can that be? To have both of these teams be this good. Rangers, it could be a 1 seed. They can wrap that up tonight. Knicks know they're a 2 seed. It could be 30 years ago, and it's unfortunate, Michael, because we're old. There's a lot of people that don't remember 1994. It was an incredible spring, incredible, and the games, the back and forth, and I'm hoping we can get something like this coming up in the next 2 months.
Peter wasn't even in college; he was in high school, right?
Yeah,
and
very much in high school.
Probably
freshman.
didn't care.
No, I didn't.
No, he cared about that girl that he eventually buried himself over.
No, different girl. I never buried myself over her. She was, but that was a big time. I mean, that was a big summer '94.
It was an awakening for you.
Summer '94 was when a lot happened. A lot happened in summer '94, and then, oh yeah, everything happened.
You were 15,
14, and then she left, and then she moved in July '94.
And that's when your heart broke.
I'll try you because your 15th birthday was in July.
Is that right? So if you want to be exact, July 9th. July 9th was a big day.
Big day for you.
Oh, yeah. And then I turned 15 on July 23rd. And then I had to wait, Don. Imagine one time seeing what I saw birds and bees. I saw all of a sudden I was seeing it was like Kodachrome. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Nice,
give
bright
us
colors.
the nice bright colors.
Yes.
Give us the greens of.
She moved. So she moved on July 9th, 1994, and then I had to wait, Don, until mid to late December of that same year. So basically,
wait for what?
For her to come back.
Oh,
it's like someone being like, "Hey, you want to taste chocolate for the first time?" And you go, "Oh my, one little square of Hershey. This is delicious. Right. Can I have some more?" Hold on, 6 months.
So Peter's going through this at 14, Don, and I was keeping incredible scorecard for the Yankees. That's what you do as a 14-year-old, not as an adult, but incredible score.
Young, Peter.
Oh no, it was a unique circumstance.
Yeah, unique's one way to put it.
But boy, oh boy.
How old was she, dare I ask?
16.
Oh my!
I'm sorry. I need to know what Michael's trying to express there with the sounds that just came out. Are you disgusted? We ought to put her in jail?
If I could, I would. But she was also a minor.
We were in the same grade.
Well, what she got left back 2 years?
She got left back when she had moved to the country.
So a real genius.
She didn't speak English.
Why do you go there? You don't know the story? So you just went right to stupid.
It's unbelievable what he just did.
She's trying to devalue, really, what was a gift from God.
Oh, by the way, of all people.
I mean, that's better than Atari, my best Christmas present.
By the way, if Michael knew the full scope of the situation, whatever he thinks positive about me now, he would say, I respect this about you more than anything else I could ever respect for what I did as a 14-year-old.
I mean, if you took her to McDonald's, I'd say I respect you more than I respect you for anything else.
Oh, my God. So you just want to be nasty. That's the sad thing.
That's kind of what I'm aiming for.
You just want to be nasty.
It's a really nice story.
It really
no, it's not. It's kind of like icky.
It's not icky. I mean, you were a little bit young, but things happen. We stayed together for years.
But I think that you've been damaged in that area of life for a while because of that. That's where it all started.
Get into it then. You want to? If we're letting it all go.
Let's open the cake couch.
Open it all up then. Yeah.
We haven't opened the cake couch in decades.
I don't think so. I don't think I am damaged, but it wasn't from that. That was actually that was a really healing thing for me. I did much better when I was in a relationship. That was a good time. Over the years, time went on. It was complicated being in a really committed relationship for all of high school and into college. That was sort of a challenging thing.
Let's go to the phones.
Yeah.
Let's go to Joe in Montclair. Joe.
Hey, guys. Thank you so much for letting me on without a doubt, the best sports show in America.
That's right.
100%. Give me a point for Point Guard. Yeah, I'm actually a longtime listener, and I've been on many times. So, again, thank you for letting me on. First and foremost, let's go Rangers. We're going to wrap it up tonight. But for all the Knicks fans, listen, take some pride in 50 wins. Take some pride in being the number 2 seed. The reality is, yeah, the Pacers might have been an easier out, but I think we actually match up better against the 76ers or the Heat. Reason being, the Pacers are very high-octane offense. They go up and down the court fast, and you're going to be exhausted at the end of that series, right? We still need Mitch to get his legs on the rim. OG's coming back. And this is a different Knicks team. You know, they're defensive-minded, and I do think with, you know, Embiid just getting back with the Heat, you know, they always seem to turn it on in the playoffs, but they don't seem like the same team they were. I do think that this is a good matchup. You know, we have the bigs to match up with Embiid. You know, I believe Mitch will find his stride. Hardenstein's been great all year. Jericho Sims could come off the bench. You know, Josh Hart's been an animal. And, again, don't discredit OG. This is a different Knicks team. And I actually think the 2 seed is a better fit for us, and I do like the matchup. I think we're going to get
but, you know, you just mentioned that Indiana likes to run up and down the floor. Well, but the Knicks are not going to get tired. The Knicks are an incredibly well-conditioned team. So that's out. Also, the Knicks are a good defensive team, so you can't just run if the other team is playing good defense and you're hitting your shots. And thirdly, Indiana doesn't play defense, so the Knicks would be able to score more on them. So just if you're going to run and not play defense, the other team's going to score too. So I'm not saying that they would have beaten Indiana. I'm not saying that they're going to lose to the Sixers or the Heat. But when you take a step back, I kind of think Indiana was a matchup I would have preferred. Embiid is really tough, man.
I just think people are looking at it the wrong way. If you were to rank the 4 possible opponents, I'm sorry, you would have the Heat and the Sixers down low on your list of teams that you want to play in the first round. You would have the Magic and the Pacers ranked higher of teams you'd rather play. That's not suggesting they can't beat all 4. But really, with all that they've done to accomplish this season, Michael, getting the Heat of the Sixers in the first round might take a lot more effort than if you had to play the Pacers or the Magic. That's all we're saying. I think they can win any series that they play. But that's a tough first-round draw. And Miami, we were saying the same things about Miami last year. Oh, they barely got in the playoffs. This is not the same team that went to the final in the bubble. They've got no hero. And they end up winning the series. And Butler got hurt in game 2, and they still won the series. Now they've got a healthy Butler, they got a healthy hero, and it's the same situation as last year, where they're going to have the play-in to get in. So I'm not saying you can't beat the Heat, but that's the last team you want to have to face after a great regular season.
Let's go to Pete in Staten Island. Pete.
Pete.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good. What's up?
Well, Don, right before Don had broke the John Sterling news there, I was the one that tweeted that out to you guys.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah, and it's all over and I know Michael, really can't talk about it, but it's all over the internet now. What is his name? Pete Caldera?
Right.
Or is it Caldera?
Caldera, yeah.
Yeah, he reported something off Stapleton, so...
But what are they reporting?
Obviously, it's out there. Well, they're saying that, basically going off what the original report was from March on, saying that John is going to be announcing his retirement on Friday. And, they didn't go into specifics of health reasons or anything like that. And pretty much everybody is basically saying the same thing.
Well, my question is
talking about health or anything like that.
But I guess just the only thing that's up in the air for me, Pete, is when. Is it immediate? Is it after the season? Is it after this series? That I'm not surprised it would be his retirement. Why would he be announcing a press conference unless it was that? It's just a matter of when, because I want to hear him again.
And also, I could tell you this, Pete, and all of our listeners as well. As far as I know, whatever happens on Friday has nothing to do with any serious health issue. He has been feeling under the weather the last week. I spoke to him on Saturday. There's nothing insidious that is not made public. So it's if the announcement is that he's going to step down or retire, I would think it's simply because he thinks it's time. There's nothing, as far as I know, that's seriously wrong with him.
Well, that's good, Michael, because actually I had replied to Art Stapleton and Caldera that I hope it's not health related, and I wish him the best. That's basically the way. I mean,
he's going to be 86 on July 4th, so I think if it's anything, age has something to do with it. It's a tough job to do that many games.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, just to my football point, you guys were talking about the, not football, the Nick point that you were talking about, whether it be the 2 seed or the 3 seed. And you know what this brought to mind with me? And I know it's, kind of a little bit off-base correlation, but it reminded me a lot when the Giants had to play the Patriots. And the question was being asked to Coughlin whether or not we were going to play our starters that week. But that's not what the Giants were all about. They were all about, and Coughlin was all about winning the games. It didn't matter when. Wanted to play the best opponents and show what you have. So, listen, as far as I'm concerned, we are, the Knicks at this point, if they haven't proven that they are a very, very dangerous team, I don't know what else needs to be proven. Because they were without OG and Randall and Mitchell Robinson for how many games? At least 30 games. At least. And for them to wind up the 2 seed, we are more than dangerous. Don't you agree, guys?
I think that they could beat anybody. As we said the other day, Pete, they could beat anybody, and they could lose to anybody. Now, in terms of comparing to what the Giants did, it's apples and wrenches. The Giants wanted to honor football and do the right thing by playing a great game and stop the Patriots from being an undefeated season. Had nothing to do. I mean, they knew if they met the Patriots, it would be in the Super Bowl. So I don't think it had anything to do with showing the Patriots you better not want to meet us in the Super Bowl. It was about honoring the game and playing it right and trying to stop them from being undefeated.
And I don't know if Thibodeau was honoring the game last night, because I think if they were locked into the 2 or 3 seed, I don't think they would have played the guys the way they played them, because the game would have been meaningless for both teams. I think they wanted the 2 seed because there was still something to play for. They don't know any gear but fifth. So as long as the game had some meaning, they were going to play it out. I think if they were locked in, Michael, they would probably not even play Brunson.
I think you're right. I don't think there was any personal thing that he was going for, so I think you might be right. You know what I have right here in my hand, right?
I would go with the Yankee starting lineup.
How do you know? I mean, is that just a guess, or do you know for sure?
Because the other thing, if you had the other thing in your hand, I doubt you'd announce it on the show.
Tonight's Yankee starting lineup against the Toronto Blue Jays on 98.7 ESPN is brought to you by Bigelow Tea and Certapro Painters. Anthony Volpe will play short. He's going to lead off, batting second, playing right field Juan Soto. Aaron Judge, the DH, will hit third. Cleaning up, the first baseman Anthony Rizzo. Gleyber Torres at second base for about fifth. Batting sixth and playing left field, Alex Verdugo. Oswaldo Cabrera at third base will bat seventh. Batting eighth and catching, Austin Wells. Trent Grisham is going to play center field. He's going to bat ninth. And starting for the Yankees will be Luis Heel against the Blue Jays, Chris Bassett. That's tonight's Yankees starting lineup, brought to you by Bigelow Tea. Bigelow Tea is a proud supporter of the Michael K. Show and the official hot tea of the New York Yankees. And Certapro Painters, when choosing a painting professional for your home or business, the choice is simple. Choose happy, choose Certapro Painters. Let's go back to the phones, 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to Griffin in Connecticut. Griffin.
Hey, guys, how was your weekend?
Wonderful. You?
Terrific, buddy.
I love another Griffin. That was another Griffin intro. Don, there's so many different ones. We never gotten that specific one before.
No.
I like it, Griffin. We're doing good, man.
You're keeping us on our toes. I appreciate that.
Michael, I have a baseball point, but then I also want to get to the yesterday with the Knicks game. I'm wondering, I have a friend who's a Knicks fan, so I was texting with him, and he was saying how if that shot went in with DeRozan, it would be he was happy but also sad. Like, I want to know how many Knicks fans were hoping that shot went in, and if it went in, they're sad, but they're a little happy though because they don't have to face the Heat or Sixers. That's what I'm trying to wonder.
Yeah, it's interesting though, Griffin, because if you watch the game, and Don mentioned this earlier, I mean, the crowd was spellbound by what was going on. So I think that everybody wanted to hit that shot. Don't you get that feeling, Don? I don't think they were thinking about ramifications. They wanted to win that game.
And you can sense the disappointment on the Brunson miss.
Yes.
The possession before. Like, they were ready to, if he had hit that shot, and it would have been a great three-pointer, is fading away from the corner. that place would have blown up. So they got caught up in the moment because that's kind of what this Knicks team is. And I think when hearing the callers, Michael, they don't fear anybody and maybe they don't care. They just want to go out there and see that team win a basketball game. And I did not get any sense at all from anybody in the crowd. And MSG did a great job of focusing on the facial expressions of the fans, that anybody wanted them to lose that game yesterday.
I would agree. I think everybody was into it. It was, I mean, you mentioned it earlier. Mike and Clyde were so into it as well.
Yeah, it was really
was really, really fun. Don, if they had lost, there would have been a lot of people in pain. What should they have done?
Oh, so good.
Well, friends, go see Dr. J's show.
There's an easier way. From little fixes to big projects, taking care of your home is easy with Thumbtack. Download the Thumbtack app and start caring for your home today.
And as the biggest breakthrough in essential fatty acids since omega-3, fatty 15
means you don't have to take gross fish oil.
Exactly. With 3 times the benefits, fatty 15 cell-repairing activities
help you actually feel better. The single pure ingredient in Fatty 15 delivers improved metabolic, liver, heart, and immune health you can feel.
To learn about improving cellular health
and long-term whole body wellness, see the benefits
and nerd out with us
at fatty15.com.
We just signed the lease on our 3rd shop. I guess we're a chain now, right? We worked so hard to get here. My assistant went to customink.com to get our new uniforms and merch with all the location names. Our custom gear helps him get our brand out into the community. He takes care of all of our custom ink orders. He was able to find great products, upload the new art, and have boxes sent directly to each of the shops. Custom Ink makes it so easy. Get started today at customink.com.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
Put it on the rest. Put it on the rest. Put it on the rest.
Never read a line of poetry, I'm not a poet, but I sit up in the back of my buttons cause I'm fresh. Never read a book on how to rip it, I just saw it, I don't need your explanation cause I'm better than the rest. Better than the rest. Better than the rest. Let me take you for a ride. I can make you feel alive.
Care.com connects you to babysitters and nannies when you need them most. So you can work from home without also having to parent, cook, clean, and entertain from home at the same time. Find all the care you need at Care.com.
Rebag, a luxury resale marketplace, curated with an eye for detail, where every inch of Togo, caviar, and monogram is carefully vetted by our specialists. A seamless experience for luxury collectors and sellers. Access the expertly crafted and the hard to find. Your next investment awaits. Rebag. Get 10% off your first purchase with Rebag TV.
Like me.
And me. It can impact how you feel and what you can do.
I still felt tired on my beta blocker.
So I talked to my cardiologist.
About treatment advances in HCM that gave me new options.
It was a breakthrough for me.
That conversation was big for me.
Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com for more information.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuck it, realtalk.com.
With features you won't find on Honda CR-V, Toyota RAV4, or Subaru Forester, the Hyundai Tucson puts the other guys in their place. Namely, the rearview mirror. Only a Tucson compares to a Tucson. Lease an all-wheel drive Tucson for $229 a month, or get 3.79% APR, or up to $1,250 bonus cash. Hurry, offers end soon.
Is your cat getting too cool? Give him Temptations dry cat food.
We all want to feel safe when traveling. That's why if you see something that feels suspicious, such as an abandoned bag or erratic behavior from a passenger, just call 911. You can call anonymously, and it's okay if it turns out to be nothing. Work together with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey to keep our transportation facilities safe. Visit PANYNJ.gov to learn more.
Some of us that his dad kept the gun in his closet and I was knocked out and he told me
This guy was on the Knicks before anybody was on the Knicks, before it was cool to be on the Knicks, and I'm sure he feels good about them finishing with the 2 seed. Let's bring in our good friend Kendrick Perkins of ESPN. Kendrick, it's Michael, Don, and Peter. How you doing?
Fellas, what's going on? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you. All right, so
Happy Monday.
Do you believe, like we were talking earlier, I'm glad that they tried to win the game and they won the game, but by winning the game, Kendrick, they get the number 2 seed, which means that they're playing either the Sixers or the Heat. Would it have been better for them to finish third and play the Pacers?
No, they're fine. I mean, look, this Knicks team is not ducking any smoke. And at some point, you know, if you're trying to get to the promised land or trying to get deep into the playoffs, you're going to have to play top-level competition. Or iron sharpens iron. That's what my grandpa used to always tell me. But when I look at the Philadelphia 76ers, I mean, Joel Embiid is not 100%, right? Like, he has 0 dunks since returning from injury. A lot of his points, about 30% of them are coming from the mid-range of jump shots. He's playing below the basket. You know, Tyrese Maxey, obviously, he's an all-NBA player this year. But, you know, again, it's going to switch up for him as well. He's going to have to make adjustments in this game because, you know, the playoffs, the playbook get a little thicker. When I look at the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler looks exhausted. I don't know if he's playing, you know, I don't know if he's you know, playing, you know, the game of, you know, just trying to psych everybody out, but I don't see the same energy in the Miami Heat. Like, and I don't think the Knicks care. It's all about the New York Knicks and the way that they're playing basketball right now. You see with Dante, you see with Bronson, you see with Josh Hart, the continuity that is there, the chemistry is there. The rest is following. McBride, he's balling out of control. Isaiah Hartenstein, I think when you look at him, one of the most underrated bigs in the game today, not afraid of embarrassment, contest at the rim, floater in the lane, high IQ basketball player for his decision-making, especially when, you know, he's involved with the pick-and-roll action and Jalen Brunson is getting blitzed. And then OG Anunoby, to me, is arguably the best defender in the league when it comes down to being able to guard 1 through 5. So when I look at those other 2 teams, and the 76ers and the Miami Heat, I got the Knicks winning either one of those series in 6.
Will they miss Randall?
I think they'll miss Randall when they get to the Eastern Conference Finals, because in order to get past the Boston Celtics, I strongly believe that you need as much offensive firepower as you possibly could get. And obviously not having Randall there, a guy that you can rely on to get you 20 points per night that will cause a matchup problem for the Boston Celtics because the way he liked to punish people in the inside. I believe that it will, but I still strongly believe this. Even without Randall, I still believe that the New York Knicks could push the Boston Celtics to 7 games. And we all know what could happen in 7 games. I mean, I've been a fan of Jalen Brunson since he was in Dallas. And when I saw him do what he did at a high level in Dallas when they made a Western Conference Finals run, and then the Knicks went out and got him in the offseason, and everyone was trying to downplay it like, oh, they could have went after Kevin Durant. I'm like, y'all haven't been watching basketball. Because if you've been watching basketball, this young man is unguardable when it comes down to being a game manager and a game changer. So, you know, when I think about Julius Randle, I just think about when the Knicks get to the Eastern Conference Finals, if they stay healthy. Against the Celtics, you need as much offensive firepower as you possibly can get in order to beat that team.
Kendrick, how do you feel about the notion, though? I'm getting it from, I'm a Celtics fan, so I deserve it, but a lot of Knicks fans coming at me with, oh, we want the Celtics. We want smoke with the Celtics. If you're a Knicks fan, are you hoping to get the Celtics? Do you like that matchup?
Well, I mean, you don't have no choice. I mean, because the Celtics are going to be there, right? Like, they're going to be there. I mean, not unless, you know, they have just a bad moment and, and have one of those moments like they did last postseason. But, I mean, let's be real. The Celtics, they have the best starting 5 in the Eastern Conference. I'm not going to say in basketball because I still believe that's the Denver Nuggets. But they're going to be there. So eventually the Knicks are going to have to face the Boston Celtics, and that's going to be the real test.
All right, so I know it's unfair to ask you to speak for other people, but you've believed in the Knicks for a while. We have seen what they've done. But then guys like Barkley and Shaq, they kind of like dismiss the Knicks. They're going to get knocked out in the first round. What are they seeing that you're not seeing that we're not seeing? Why are they down on them?
Because it's obviously they don't watch basketball. They can't watch basketball.
I love it.
I'm serious. They can't watch basketball on a consistent basis. The only time that they actually probably watch the Knicks are when they're covering the Knicks on their game night. So if you're watching the New York Knicks, there's nowhere in hell that you could just downplay the way that they've been playing the game of basketball. If you're watching the New York Knicks, there's nowhere in hell that you could downplay that Jalen Brunson has been the best player in the Eastern Conference. If you're watching the Knicks, there's no way that you could downplay that Josh Hart has been one of the best rebounding guards in the league outside of Luka Doncic. Like, if you don't watch the Knicks on a consistent basis, then you don't know. I just watched the New York Knicks come off a West Coast road trip, did phenomenal on that trip. I believe went there and got a win against Sacramento. Went and got a win, I believe, was it against the Golden State Warriors, yep. I believe it was. Yep. And then you come back home and you get a signature win against the Celtics. And it's like, okay, like, oh, well, the Celtics, they were just teeing up and getting ready for the postseason. No, they actually played everybody. And the New York Knicks made them tap out. It's a difference. So, I mean, you know, guys that are downplaying what this Knicks coaching and Tom Thibodeau is all about, they haven't been watching them. And that's another thing. When it comes to Tibbs, when it comes to preparation, I don't know. It's not one other coach that I played for that has that type of preparation, the way that prepares the way Tom Thibodeau does.
Now, he's always knocked, though, Kendrick, for, you know, he didn't win with the Bulls, and I say, well, if their best player didn't get hurt, they probably do win a championship. He didn't win with the Timberwolves. He made them a lot better. He took over a terrible team. What is the big knock on Thibodeau, though, when it comes to the playoffs?
Well, just think about where he's been at, right? Like, when Tibbs was in Chicago, he always had to face LeBron James.
Right.
LeBron James stopped a lot of people and a lot of coaches. Okay, when Tom Thibodeau was in Minnesota, Tom Thibodeau didn't have Anthony Edwards. See, I think people miss, people don't take in consideration who the players are at the time or what stopped certain coaches or players from, actually, reaching higher goals. When I look at the Minnesota Timberwolves situation, I've been saying this all year long. I'm watching Anthony Edwards bring something out of Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert that Jimmy Butler couldn't bring out of them. It's just he's the best young leader in the game. When it comes to guys under 25, he's the best young leader in the game of basketball, the way he carried himself, the way he defends on both ends of the floor. And so when you look at Tibbs, I always tell people to pay close attention to the little things when you watch the New York Knicks. Just watch how they all play post defense the same, meaning one hand on the back, taking the hit with the chest, poking at the ball with the other hand for when the guy's trying to crab dribble, how everybody's tied on the string, boxes and elbows. That's a Tom Thibodeau preparation. And just being honest with you, right, Doc Rivers was at his best when Tom Thibodeau was his assistant, right? Because Doc was able to take over the offense, and Tom Thibodeau was able to be the best version of himself, and that's being the best coach or best basketball mind on the defensive side of things.
So what would be their biggest concern if you're the Knicks?
I think, it's going to come down to this, right? Like, is Dante, Josh Hart, McBride, Bogdanovich, are they going to make shots consistently? Because it's going to be the playoff scheme is going to be trap Jalen Brunson. Okay, if you trap Jalen Brunson, he's going to make the right play. Now, when he does make the right play, are those shooters going to be able to knock down shots? If they are, it's going to open things back up for Jalen Brunson. But I think the Knicks are prepared for that because they've been seeing this type of defense all since the All-Star break. Watching the Lakers game, the Lakers blitzed Jalen Brunson. So many teams blitzed him, and he still was able to get it done. But it came out to a slow start because he had to come off the rock and get others involved. So I think if guys continue to make shots at a high level, continue to do what they do best, and that's pound you on the glass and the inside, the Knicks are going to be just fine.
Who's coming out of the West, Kendrick?
I'm giving a slight edge to the Denver Nuggets, but it's not a large margin like everybody's trying to make it. Mm-hmm. Is Jokic the best player in the league? Yes. Is him and Jamal Murray the best duo in the league? Yeah. Do they have the best starting five in basketball? Yes. But I do have question marks. I do have concerns about their bench. Bruce Brown is gone. We know how valuable he was last year to their championship run. Jeff Green, he's gone. He was valuable. Can Reggie Jackson, Christian Braun, can they step up to the plate and be consistent enough throughout the postseason to be that spark or be that those players off the bench to give them what Bruce Brown and Jeff Green gave them last year? That I don't know. That could be determined. But when I look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're right there. When I look at, the Dallas Mavericks, there's no pushover, especially for, once they got Gafford and P.J. Washington. And then the Clippers, if Kawhi comes back healthy, they might take the Mavs out. Then all of a sudden the Nuggets might, it's teams, the West is so good that the Lakers are in the play-in tournament, and they're like 11 games over 500. Like, they're a really good basketball team. They just in a great conference. So, I'm giving a slight edge to the Denver Nuggets, but I'm not just saying I wouldn't be surprised if somebody knocked them off.
Well, yeah, Perk, that was going to be my last question. Is there a chance the Warriors or Lakers could do something, or is the conference just too good?
Well, I think, you know what, so everybody, you see all this, nonsense that's being out there today. Oh, should the Lakers drop the game to the Pelicans to try to get the AC? One, you can't play with the basketball guards like that. You got to go win. Two, I actually would like the Lakers to win tomorrow night and get the 7th spot because guess what? They're going into that series with no pressure if they happen to face the Denver Nuggets. No pressure whatsoever. No one is going to expect them to win. And so LeBron James and Anthony Davis being the underdog with no pressure, that's scary for the Denver Nuggets. So you're going to have to face them at some point. If I had to pick out of the two, which one could actually get into the postseason and make the most noise, I would have to go with the Lakers over Golden State, solely because of LeBron and AD.
And finally, the team that's going to match up with Minnesota, who it sounds like you like, is Phoenix, because Minnesota losing to Phoenix yesterday, they match up. And Phoenix, I mean, with that talent being the 6th seed, do you think that they're dangerous?
They are. And that's the scary part. Like, Minnesota and Phoenix are both dangerous. Like, both of them teams could actually go to the Western Conference Finals. Both of those teams could actually go to the NBA Finals. Both of those teams could. Just think about if you were to take those teams that are like, you know, even if you look at outside of the top 3 in the West, and you put the rest of them, the teams that's in 4th, 5th, 6th, and in the play-in tournament, you put them in the Eastern Conference, like, they'll be right there in the playoffs. They only had 2 teams in the Eastern Conference that won 50 games. What, they had 6, 5 in the West, and 2 like with 48, 49. Like, they're good. So it's just, the West is going to be so interesting. Like, the West should be, like, when it comes down to postseason, I think this is going to be one of the greatest postseasons that we've had in a long time because of the matchups in the Western Conference.
Yeah, it should be fun. We can't wait. Kendrick, we thank you for coming on as always. Always great stuff.
Thanks, man.
I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much, man, and keep it going.
All right, that's Kendrick Perkins. So
he's good.
He's like the Knicks for a while, Peter. It's not just that all of a sudden. He's like them. Like from the beginning of the season, he came on and said they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. You remember?
Oh, do I? It aged incredibly well. I mean, he sounded a little wacky almost, like he was too high on it. And remember, Kendrick's a guy, bulk of his career, talking about Oklahoma City and Boston. That's what he's known for. There's no reason for him to be a Knicks guy. There's no win there, except he just believed in the team. And obviously had a relationship from Tibbs from the time in Boston when they won the championship. But I think he just saw the vision, man. And this team is, it's hard to argue this team is anything but special. And by the way, we should probably get into it more later. I think Brunson as the legit MVP, that's also a real conversation.
I agree. I don't think he's going to win it, but you know, he definitely should be at least, you know,
a top 3, Michael.
NBA, all NBA team, at least team 2, at least. It's going to be hard for him to be the first team because it's probably Doncic, but it should be the second. But we'll see. Peter, you have some FanDuel to tell us about.
Do you want to know what I've been binge watching? Udemy courses. They have thousands of courses that help me advance my career from anywhere, especially with this little one. I need to get in as much learning as I can. For both of us.
Here's the history of glasses. The idea begins in Egypt. The first pair appears in Italy. Ben Franklin invents new lenses. We start Warby Parker. Eyewear without the middleman for an actually fair price. That's the history of glasses and the future. Come see at warbyparker.com.
Don't work for your money. Let it work for you.
What money?
You're behind with student debt. Your budget is basic. Let's go.
You're going to be lost, left behind. You buy low.
Payroll's late.
I've got 16 money apps.
I got a budgeting dashboard. Managers don't avoid it.
Try this app. It's Albert. It's got banking, savings, investing, and budgeting all in one place. It's simple.
Simple.
Growing up, I always wanted to do so many things.
I wanted to be a vet.
I wanted to be an actor.
When I was really little, I don't know why, but I wanted to be a pastor. When I was like a small child.
I wanted to be a celebrity, like by any means necessary.
This is Spike Drop Vegas Heist.
These players are playing for a lot of money today.
I'm only here for a 2P. I don't really care about any other place.
My dad is a gamer.
My dad.
My brother. My grandmother.
My dad's a big gamer, still is. People will either like me or they will hate me, and I think that's fine. I'm okay with that.
I can't
can't even comprehend what is going on, but I like it.
New season, new reasons to say yes.
This is star power.
Wow.
Cole dials it up. What a home run for Soto. Aaron Judge crushes one.
Get all the Yankees action. The Yes app.
It's gonna feel like home. It's gonna be electric.
This is the Yankees flexing their muscles.
I think he's just going to elevate everybody in that lineup.
He has the right demeanor to pitch in the Bronx.
When you play in New York, the expectation is to win a championship.
This is the Yankees being the Yankees.
And they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay and how fast you can get started.
After months of hibernation, it's time to reemerge. Let spring inspire you to start fresh, too, behind the wheel of a new Ford SUV, featuring power that invigorates, capability to venture way off the grid, and tech that helps you forge a new path. It's a big world. Get out there and experience it. Now, returning lessees can get an Explorer for just $369 a month for 36 months, only at your local Ford stores.
Hey, so I found a betting system that's really working great for me.
So did I. What's yours?
I set up an hour-a-week time limit on FanDuel. I can also set up wager limits, so I only bet what I can afford, and betting stays fun.
Right.
So what's your system?
What's that?
Your system. What's your system? What is that?
Every bettor has a system. Make FanDuel's responsible gaming tools a key part of yours.
Volkswagen doors are tested 100,000 times by a machine because it would take humans a really long time. A sturdy design that lasts. The Atlas. Get 1.9% APR financing or a $3,000 customer bonus on a new 2024 Atlas or Atlas Cross Sport during the Volkswagen 75th anniversary event.
Chris Sheeran back here for the Michael K. Show. The Yankees continuing their road trip in Toronto tonight is brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Luis Heel gets the ball from Aaron Boone. Heel doesn't have a decision this season, but opponents are hitting just 103 off of him, going 1 for 16 on his four-seamer, 1 for 9 on his slider, and 1 for 4 on his change. His opponent is another righty in Chris Bassett. He's 1-2 this season with an ERA over 5, but in 3 career starts against the Yankees, he's 1-0 with an ERA under 1. Our coverage commences tonight with the batting practice show at 6, followed by the pregame, and first pitch comes your way a little after 7. It's the Yankees and the Blue Jays coverage starting at 6 right here on Yes, and streaming, of course, on the Yes app.
This is a pinstripe report brought to you by Bet365 that I never even imagined that I would have to give. I couldn't even imagine the time that it would happen. But the Yankees have just released a statement that John Sterling is going to retire effective immediately. He's called 5,420 regular season Yankee games, 211 postseason Yankee games, and he is retiring effective immediately. He will be recognized in a pregame ceremony on Saturday, April 20th, and he'll visit the WFAN booth during the game. Additionally, he will be made available to the media on Saturday as well. So here's a statement from the Yankees. Fans find a certain comfort in the daily rhythms of baseball. Day in and day out, season after season, and city after city, John Sterling used his seat in the broadcast booth to bring Yankee fans the heartbeat of the game. Enjoying in profound voice, and colorful personality that were distinctly, unmistakably his own. John informed and entertained, and he exemplified what it means to be a New Yorker with unapologetic and boisterous style that exuded his passion for baseball, broadcasting, and the New York Yankees. There's no shortage of adjectives to describe John and what he means to this organization and our millions of fans around the world. But what makes John a Goliath of the sports broadcasting world was how sacred he held his role as voice of the Yankees, showing up to perform virtually every single day since 1989. He was a pillar for Yankee fans who relied on the comfort and familiarity of his voice to be the soundtrack of their spring, summer, and fall. Given the tremendous care he had for the team and his performance on the air, it's not a stretch to believe that our fans live and die with every pitch because John Sterling did the same. We congratulate John on a remarkable and illustrious career. His contributions to this great game and to the Yankees franchise will echo long into the future. And this is a statement from John. I'm a very blessed human being. I've been able to do what I wanted, broadcasting for 64 years. As a little boy growing up in New York as a Yankees fan, I was able to broadcast the Yankees for 36 years. It's all to my benefit, and I leave very, very happy. I look forward to seeing everyone again on Saturday.
Wow.
So effective immediately, I guess he'll join the booth on Saturday just for a quick word, but he's not calling a game, and that will do it.
Can I offer one thing, Michael?
Yes.
I feel like what we're hearing, as sad as it is to see this era come to an end, the way it sounds like it's being done and the way it sounds like the decision is being made sort of makes me feel better than the initial concern I had about the fact that he's been missing games and now you find out he's retiring. To me, at least, it sounds like something like he's just ready to do it, and the physical wear and tear is too much.
Well, you're accurate. I spoke to him on Saturday, and it was an emotional phone call. He wanted to tell me, we worked together for 10 years. We got a chance to call, 5 World Series together, and it was the start of my broadcasting career. And he just said, Michael, I've called my last game. I said, John, wait a minute. Wait, what are you doing? And he said, I'm just done. I'm tired and I'm done. And, I feel I still sound good, and he does. His voice does not sound like an 85-year-old man. He sounds like, he did when I started working with him. He was 50. And I said, John, why don't you wait until you feel better and then make a decision at that point? And he said, no, it has nothing to do with me being under the weather. I don't enjoy doing it anymore. I've had a blast all these years, and it's not fun anymore. And when it's not fun, it's time to walk away. And I said, you sure you want to walk away now? I said, maybe just do the home games. He said, no, I'm done. I don't want to do any more baseball. I'm done. I could sit here now, watch every single game on TV. He said, watch every game I want to watch. He said, that's what I'm looking forward to. I've given, he said to me, Michael, I'm going to be 86 on July 4th. You can't do this forever. So it was kind of sad for me. And, when I told Jody, I was kind of emotional too. But, he's iconic. He called 5 world championships for the Yankees. He had the longest run of any Yankee broadcaster ever. It's longer than Mel Allen. It's longer than Phil Rizzuto. That's how long he's been doing this. So,
but it is great to hear that it's just the time for him. I was worried for us on the outside looking in. He misses games, then you see a press conference. You start to get worried he's in some sort of immediate danger. So nice to hear that he's okay. He's just kind of done with it.
There's just a uniqueness to Sterling because, growing up a Met fan, Bob Murphy was the Mets voice from 62 to 2003. But what, Michael, for the last 20 years, there were many series he wouldn't do, wouldn't travel a lot towards the end of his career. We're starting to see with Howie Rose, who's been a voice of the Mets for a long time. He's not going to be traveling that much this year. Of course, the iconic voice of Vin Scully, Michael, for a long time towards the end of his career, he did not travel east of the Mississippi. Up until last year, he did every inning of every game. Yep. I mean, that's the uniqueness of him. So there'll be other announcers that broadcasted longer than John or older than John, but nobody was able to say that from 1989 until 2003, when he finally stepped away, I guess it was 2003 or 2002 when he stepped away and first missed his first game, that he had done every inning for how long, and then every game for how long, right? Well, so I guess after you left and Steiner
for
Michael,
3 years, and then Susan for 20.
Right. But when so for 20 years he never missed an inning, and then for his entire career he never missed a game. So that's what's just so iconic about him. So you'll find announcers that are been around longer or have done more games, but nobody could say they did every game for as long as he did, and then for the last 20 years every inning. And he is the voice of generations of Yankee fans, and he is certainly going to be missed. And great guy, too. Fun guy to talk to. Did talk shows here, did talk shows at the Fan, did hockey, did basketball. Michael, he was doing Ivy League football when Yes first started. I mean, he was just a machine, and I'm glad he got to go on his own terms.
I will talk more about this when we get back. A lot of people on hold about other things, but, if you want to talk about John, you certainly can. And John's fine, as far as I know. He is under the weather. He's not feeling great, but it doesn't seem to be anything of any serious nature. Fingers crossed. And he's just decided that, he's tired and he wants to stop broadcasting right now. That's the Pinstripe Report, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, is never ordinary at Bet365. Don, I think you got some things to tell us.
Well, maybe.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
It's one fantastic ride. The turbocharged, tech-inspired Kia Forte.
Best 2 out of 3?
Lease the new 2024 Forte LXS for $189 a month.
When I take the bike out like this, all my stresses just melt away.
I hear that. This bad boy can fix anything.
Yep, tough day at work. Nice cruiser sorts you right out.
When I'm riding, I'm not even thinking about my painful cavity.
Oh, you shouldn't ignore that.
And every time I get stressed about having to pay my bills, I just hop on the bike, man.
Oh, come on, man. You gotta pay your bills.
You don't have to worry about anything when you're protected by America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
Well, you definitely do. Those things aren't related, so...
Oh, that is a vibrating pain.
There are trucks, and then there's the GMC Sierra. Available with the connected driving experience. And the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. GMC Sierra. It's the truck. Or get 6,000 purchase allowance when you trade in an eligible vehicle. That's 10% below MSRP on select GMC Sierra models. We are professional grade GMC.
They don't look bad.
No, bro, you're grabbing no bad on the park. When you swing, this part of the back. Life is hard, but you guys have to work harder, okay?
Yes.
Be resilient. You go. Wow, look, you blew everything. We're gonna come out looking like our pops.
What do you do wrong?
No, I ain't doing nothing wrong. My name is O'Neal Trinidad, and I want to live.
Dupixent helps you do more with less asthma and can help you breathe better in as little as 2 weeks. Dupixent is an add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma that's not for sudden breathing problems. Dupixent can cause allergic reactions that can be severe. Get help right away if you have rash, chest pain, worsening shortness of breath, tingling or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor about new or worsening joint aches and pain or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines, including steroids, without talking to your doctor. Ask your specialist about Dupixent.
Is it possible to be more capable and more practical? Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road, as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
Well, if you just joined us, kind of stunning news. But as Peter mentioned, the way it's being done, it's not upsetting. John Sterling has broadcasted his final game as a longtime broadcaster of the New York Yankees. So 36 years with the Yankees as their broadcaster, and a career. Don mentioned this earlier. He was doing sports talk radio before FAN ever existed. He did the Islanders, and his call, Islander goal. He also called I forget the other hockey league, Don, but he did
the Long Island Ducks.
No, not the Long Island Ducks.
Oh, the WHA you're talking about? Oh yeah.
And he did it with those games with Fritz Peterson, who just passed away last week, the Yankee pitcher who was loved hockey. He did the Nets with Dr. J and Larry Keenan and that team. Then he went to Atlanta and did the Braves. And then he came back and he did the Yankees. Mm-hmm. So he did the Yankees for 3 years. The first 2 years with Jay Johnstone. Then he did a year with Joe Angel. Joe Angel left. And then I got the job. And I worked with him for 10 years. And then there were 3 years with Charlie Steiner, and then now 20 years with Susan. So that all adds up to 36. And he's an entertainer. He's got one of the great voices I've ever heard in broadcasting, and he still sounds terrific today. And I'll just recount the phone call that I had with him on Saturday. I said, "How you doing?" And he said, "Not that great." He sounded a little hoarse. Because I knew he had not been feeling well. That's why he missed the last series at the stadium. And then they went to Cleveland, so he wasn't scheduled to make that trip anyway. And he said, "But I'm okay." I said, "So what's up?" He had left me a voicemail. And he said, "I just want to tell you that I've done my last Yankee game." I said, "John, why? What happened?" He says, I'm just tired. I'm done. I don't like going to the ballpark anymore. I'm just done." And I said, "I'm shocked." I said, "Well, why don't you wait until you feel better?" I said, "And then make this." He said, No, it has nothing to do with me feeling under the weather now. It's just, I think it's time. I'm going to be 86 on July 4th, and, this can't go on forever. And now I could sit back and watch the game on TV and, live my life the way I want, and I have to be at the ballpark when I have to be at the ballpark. And I just think it's time. And I got to give credit to Chris Oliveira. He's the general manager of WFAN. And I've told this to Chris personally. He has been so great with John since he took over as the guy running WFAN. He has acceded to his every wish. He has made sure that it was comfortable for John. When John wanted to cut back on road travel, Chris made it happen. As far as I was told, Chris, up until this thing became official, was trying to talk him out of it. And he understood that legends should be treated in a certain way. And whether you like John's broadcasting style or not, he certainly is a legend. Called 5 World Championships with the Yankees, and he's going to be remembered forever from Yankee fans. And Yankees are going to honor him with an on-field ceremony on Saturday. So it's kind of stunning because there are kids, there are people that, when John started broadcasting the Yankees, they were 10 years old. They're 46 now. I mean, that's all they've known.
Yep.
That's all they've known. 2 generations of Yankee fans. That's really all they've known, calling Yankee games. So I'm kind of sad because he still sounded terrific. If you listen to a tape of his last game, he sounded great. He just sounded great, but he just said, I'm done. I'm tired. I want to rest, and it's just too much for me. So we have to respect his wishes and say goodbye and give him a big collective hug.
It must be really passionate about it, too, Michael, because I guess it would be very simple with them returning home this weekend.
Right.
For him to just say, all right, this is my last series, give some closure to the fans, have a chance to say goodbye outside of a press conference or a guest spot on the fan during that series. So maybe he'd be just too emotional to know that these were the last games, or maybe he just could not give another game. It is a lot. It's every day. It's getting to the ballpark, preparing to do the game, and maybe he just absolutely had it. But selfishly, even though I'm not a Yankee fan, but I'm a fan of his, I'm a fan of radio, and a fan of play-by-play first and foremost, that I'd love to be able to get some closure and have him do at least one more game, just to be able to know as you're listening to it, it'd be the last chance.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I mean, we've heard his last game, and we didn't know it was his last game.
Now, his highlights will live forever, Michael. I mean, some of those moments are iconic, so his voice is going to live forever in Yankee fan land and in baseball land for sure. But just to have that moment, because that's the difference between baseball and every other sport, is that in hockey and basketball, they're kind of necessary evils, in football too, because there's not as many games and you can get in front of the television. But radio, and I'm one of these people too, Michael, where I enjoy it more on radio than sometimes sitting and watching it on television. There's nothing better than on a beautiful summer day, sit outside and barbecue, pop the radio on, and listen to the game. And that's why his voice resonates so well, because even a diehard fan probably listens to 60, 70 games a year on the radio in their car, in the backyard, and that's the voice that they heard every summer for 30-plus years, every game, every inning, every big moment. So that's why baseball announcers, especially on the radio, are so iconic, because they're such a part of the fabric and the soundtrack of the sports fan's life.
Yeah, it's going to be weird. And, I mean, what a responsibility for, Justin Shackle and Emmanuel Barberi, who are doing a good job doing the games on the road now. I don't know what FAN's plan is, but I would assume they'll split the games the rest of the way. But, you're taking over for a guy that was part of everybody's, landscape. Because as Don said, baseball is a radio sport. Because the radio goes with you to the beach, and you could be at the pool, and, I mean, it's just built. Because it's such a long season, and wherever you go, if you're taking rides in the car, John Sterling was always with you, and now he's decided to step away. Really weird, really weird.
I wonder also if there's a slight bonus for him in that you'd rather not go through this is my last time doing this is my last time doing that. Like, if there's a part that's emotionally easier to just go, it already happened, it's done. You know what I mean?
You know what, Peter? I guess it would be very emotional, right?
Mm-hmm.
For him to, forget about like this is the last time, just to know that this is the last time.
That's what I mean.
And rather than put himself through that emotion, all right, it's been done. I'm done.
Exactly. Rather than so the last time he did a game, there was no pomp and circumstance. Right. It wasn't some special version of it. He did it the way it always was, and that was it. I respect the hell out of it.
And you know that if he announced this weekend was going to be his last weekend, it'd be a circus. And maybe that's something he just didn't want to have to go through with all the interviews and.
Well, he's going to do that anyway Saturday.
But he'll have that moment. But he's also, this is a guy that wants to be able to do the game. Right, and he wants to put the game first and not have it be about him, and that's what it would kind of become, and maybe that's just attention he didn't want. And listen, you know him better than anybody, Michael. What would you think the reason behind it would be?
You know what? I don't quite know. I don't know why he won't do one more game. Just to give people closure. Forget about him. People want to hear that one final game. They experienced that one final game, and they didn't know it was a one final game.
Do we know his last home run call? Somebody was asking on social media.
Was that the day that Soto had the call, hit a home run.
So his last game was, because he hasn't worked he didn't take this road trip, obviously, to Cleveland.
Right.
So the last...
he didn't do the 3 games before this, he didn't do at home. So that all the games blend together.
Yeah, especially in baseball. It's every day.
Yeah,
it's easy enough to look up.
He did. I think the last game was a Sunday.
Well,
yeah, because
find that out easy enough.
the Stanton Grand Slam he had. The Blue Jays, I believe, that was the last.
So we can take a look and see the last home run in that.
While we're looking, let's take some phone calls. Let's go to Les in Rockland County. Les. Hello, Les.
Hey, Michael. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. I just want to kind of echo everything that you said. I'm 42 years old. So my entire life, right, has been John Sterling. It's, on the radio, in the car, growing up, or, sitting by the pool, just everywhere we went, right? It was on, and he was the voice. And I was listening last week, and he sounded perfect. Like, it amazed me how he was 86 years old, the travel, the city to city, and still kind of kept up with it, and honestly didn't miss a beat. And whether you liked his style or not, the guy was on it every game and showed up and was amazing. So he's definitely a legend. And, to speak to, I got 4 kids now, right? They love getting in the car and listening to Yankee games, and he is their voice right now. So it's a sad day, but, we should certainly celebrate everything that he has given to the Yankees because it's tremendous.
Yeah, that Stanton home run was the last home run of that 8-3 win against the Blue Jays, so... Not bad for his last home run to be
a Stantonian blast,
a grand slam.
He, over the years that I worked with him, we had, very funny exchanges because he really, really wanted the Yankees to win. Because when I joined him, that was '92, so that was the last losing season they've had, and he would live and die with every loss. And I was coming from a newspaper background where you have to be totally objective. And I just asked him, I said, John, why do you care if they win? I mean, they don't care if you have a good broadcast. And he said, Michael, my boy, he goes, if you give people good news, they're going to like you. He goes, and you give people bad news, they'll blame the announcer. He goes, as great as Marv Albert was, he was at the mic in 69 and 73, and he is part of forever because they won when he was there. And John knew. And, he loved being part of 96 and 98, and because the first 3 years he did. Think about it. I was a writer then, and he would tell me, what did I do? I left the Braves and the Hawks. And this is the Stump Merrill years. They were just dreadful. And he was so down, and he was questioning why he made the move. And obviously, starting in 93, they haven't had a losing season since. And he also took a lot of pride in the voice, because the voice is spectacular. It's spectacular. And, if you listen to some older announcers, you can see that they sound older. Even politicians that are old. If you listen to Bill Clinton, he doesn't sound the same way he did when he was president, because your vocal cords age. John's didn't. John's amazing. His vocal cords didn't age. He sounds like he's 25 years old. It's really something else. Let's go to Danny in Long Island. Danny.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. A couple of things I wish to discuss, but let me touch on John. I was one of those 10-year-old Islander New York Net fans back in the day. I was listening to John on my AM/FM radio as I went to bed. Some horrible Islander overtime losses in the playoffs, some great Dr. J championships, and then when I went on the police department, I learned to love the radio. And to this day, when people I work with have these little phones and stuff to try to watch a game on a little screen that's blurry, I said, you know what? Give me the radio. I can enjoy it. The art form that it is. Paint me the picture rather than me staring at some little screen trying to, freezes up. It goes in and out. I love listening to games on the radio, and Sterling was as good as anybody because he didn't take it overly serious. In the middle of the seventh inning, he starts talking about a meal. And it's great because you have so much downtime in baseball. It's theater of the mind. You have to fill his spots, and he filled it, and he will be missed, and I wish him a healthy and long retirement. And I just hope it isn't for health concerns, because the New York Post right now, as we know, love the Post, is saying it's because of health concerns. Front page of the online Post, and we just hope that that's not true. Wouldn't be the first time the Post blew a headline.
No, never.
But a couple of things, Don. By the way, Peter, the thing about filling your gas tank was because the thought process was when it got down low, sediment and dirt would go into the engine that wouldn't necessarily have it. I don't know about Don's father filling the tank every day, but between that and crushing the pizza boxes, it's amazing the man never got any work done.
It's a great point.
He didn't like it under a half a tank. So what are you going to do?
But listen, Donnie, about the hockey. I mean, is it me or as an Islander fan? I come out of that game. First of all, I was listening on the ESPN app because I was in my garden all day planting my veggies. And Maloney was more high on the Islanders during the game than he was the Rangers, saying this is a team that's playing playoff hockey, not the Rangers. They're winning every battle in front of the net, behind the net. And they're giving the Rangers everything they could handle and more. And they're going into the playoffs with a full head of steam. The Rangers kind of, I'm not saying they lucked out. It was a great game. And like I said last week, give me Islander Rangers once a week for 6 months. I'm good. And now they're probably not going to play in the playoffs, but I came out of that game with the 1 point. I mean, we needed it, but the manner in which they played, I was thrilled with this team headed to the playoffs.
Well,
now let's go win the game tonight.
They're built for the postseason, the way that they play and their goaltending. Now, will they be able to score in a big spot? That's always going to be the question. But just like with the Knicks when they beat the Celtics the other day, Michael, whatever sport you follow, I always take the end of the season with a grain of salt because not everybody's like the Knicks. And the Rangers want to win the President's Trophy, and they want home ice advantage and all the things that come with it. But you're never going to be able to match the intensity of a team that needs the game to make the playoffs. So the last 2 times the Rangers played the Islanders were absolutely desperate, and that was a big difference. Now, can they beat the Rangers in the best 7 series? Of course they can, because that's hockey. But I still like the Rangers' chances, and I wouldn't completely get crazy in what's happened most recently with the Rangers, taking on all these desperate teams. Philadelphia, when they played New Jersey a couple of weeks ago, they were still alive. The Islanders, Pittsburgh. That's a tough kind of comparison. A team trying to get to the second season, going up against a team that already knows they're in. They already know they're going to have home ice in the first couple of rounds, and they're playing for the President's Trophy or to win the division. It's a different type of intensity. Once the playoffs start, everybody's on even keel as far as the need is concerned.
Let's go to Artie in Fairlawn. Artie.
Hey, Michael, Don, Peter, how are you guys?
What's up?
I was calling about the Knicks earlier, but you know what? John Sterling is God. I mean, I listen to the radio game all the time. Half the time I got the radio on when you're not on TV, Michael. Mm-hmm. My mother's got the radio and the TV on because it's ahead of the game. And so she's very down right now.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are, Artie. He's been a part of people's lives for 36 years calling Yankee games. And if you go back further with the Islanders and the Nets, and yeah, I mean, he's been around a long time. It's an amazing broadcasting career, as he said in the statement. He's been doing it 62 years.
I hope. Listen, I don't want to talk him into anything he doesn't want to do. We can't say we're surprised by this announcement because he's going to be 86 years old. All right, so the day was going to come sooner than later. I just think people thought they'd know the last game.
Right.
And I just wonder when he sees the outpouring of emotion from the fans, whether given the opportunity to just do one last game, whether he would take that opportunity.
You know what bothers me? I just looked at what Danny said. The front page of the Post online, he's retiring for health concerns. And as far as I know, I mean, I spoke to him on Saturday. That's not the case. I said, why don't you wait until you feel better? Because he's under the weather. He's not, profoundly ill. You know, when people are 85, they get a bug. It stays with them a while. But as far as I could tell, what he told me, it's just time. He's tired, and he doesn't want to do the games. He doesn't want to go to the ballpark. He says, once I'm in the seat and doing the games, I love it. He said, but just to get there and to get back, I just don't want to do it. So that's kind of not right. That headline's not right. It's not because of health concerns.
I know that's the thing. It's a slight word difference, but when you use health concerns, the obvious implication, Michael, is that there's a deeper concern,
right?
Not just the real headline. Right. John Sterling is tired. He's older, and he realized he started the season and realized he just doesn't have it in him, and that's not nearly as sexy a headline as health concerns.
Yeah.
So people go for the health concerns one, and that stinks because that's not what the situation is.
And it's easy to believe because he's not going to do another game.
Right.
It's not like, at the end of the season or at the end of this month or at the end of this homestand. It's immediate, so that fuels the speculation even more.
One of the things that, when Flip put together the Yes Network, getting John to do the Yankeeography, was there a better voice to do that? Just think about it, how perfect a fit that was. And he still, to this day, he still does them. And also the Yankee Classics. It fits. It just fits that he's calling, Yankeeography and doing all the classics and stuff like that. It was a perfect fit for him. So, there's a lot of things he's going to be missed about, but not going anywhere. He's just not doing the games. So that's what we have to think.
Now, you obviously were the perfect choice, Michael, but did Flip ever consider using John on Yes for play-by-play? Or was it a contract thing?
I don't. Well, we were both under contract to the radio, so I don't quite know. I'm not quite sure. I think what Flip has told me, he definitely wanted to go with a younger person. I was 40 at the time, and because it was a new network. But I don't know if John was ever considered or not. But that was a difficult phone call for me to make, to tell John that I was leaving to do the TV, because I've told the story a million times that if I was John Sterling's quote unquote sidekick for 40 years, I would have been very happy. I would have considered that a very successful career. And then the television thing opened up, and John was hurt. John felt like I left him, and I said, no, it's just an unbelievable opportunity. I didn't leave you. This is something that I want to try to see if I can do. Not because I'm unhappy with you. I was very happy with him. And I love doing the games with him. And I'll always think back fondly on those days. Those are some of the best, professional days of my life.
It's got to make you feel good, Michael, because I'm seeing it now of people wondering, could they get you and John one more time? And you guys haven't called a game together in over 20 years, and yet still that team resonates with fans.
I would love
to. All the great games that you called and championships that you won.
Well, there could absolutely be a world, I would think, where John hangs out, rests some this summer, and then an opportunity comes up for him to join you on Yes and do a game. That could be in the cards.
I would love. I'm sure that Yes would be up for it as well. I can't speak for them, but you always used to be a block about, especially when we were at war with each other, the radio stations, that why don't I go in the booth and do one more game with him, when Susan was off. But it could never happen because, I didn't work for FAN, and ESPN wouldn't want me to do it, although I think ESPN would have had a less of a problem with me doing it. But we did do that one spring training game during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we did that. But that was weird. We were both in separate places, and we weren't together. It'd be great to do a game together.
Yeah.
But I just think that's cool that 20 years has passed, and yet people still would want to
Well, you know what? It goes back to what John said. When you give people good news, they like you. We gave them 4 world championship teams that we were broadcasting for, and they think back fondly on that. So those are great. Those 10 years were unbelievable. So many great games, so many great moments. And again, 5 World Series, one of them. The last game I ever did with him was 2001 Game 7. Even that was great. And it was an awful ending for Yankee fans, but it was a great game. And I didn't know when I did that game that was going to be the last game we ever did, because I didn't think I was getting the Yes job. I didn't even think it was a possibility. All right, we'll take some more phone calls when we get back with over 350 new and certified pre-owned.
The Michael K. Show on Yes is presented by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com. The Michael K. Show on Yes is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more.
Hey, so I found a betting system that's really working great for me.
So did I. What's yours?
I set up an hour-a-week time limit on FanDuel. I can also set up wager limits, so I only bet what I can afford, and betting stays fun.
Right.
So what's your system?
What's that?
Your system. What's your system? What is that?
Every bettor has a system. Make FanDuel's responsible gaming tools a key part of yours.
When I hit 80, I needed help around the home. A friend of mine told me to call Freedom Care, and they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay and how fast you can get started.
After months of hibernation, it's time to reemerge. Let spring inspire you to start fresh, too, behind the wheel of a new Ford SUV, featuring power that invigorates, capability to venture way off the grid, and tech that helps you forge a new path. It's a big world. Get out there and experience it. Now, returning lessees can get an Escape for just $199 a month for 24 months, only at your local Ford stores.
We're dogs out here. There was barking in the dugout.
Diversity is in our nature. It is in nature, too. Biodiversity. It connects us and sustains us. But nature's biodiversity is at risk more than ever before, and the future of all life is in our hands. So what will you do? Love it or lose it?
When disaster strikes, no matter where and when, cash is best. Those in crisis are able to decide where that money goes. It's easily exchanged and received across borders, and nobody knows the needs of a community in crisis better than the people within it. With cash, help goes exactly where it's needed, when it's needed. Ultimately, cash creates choice. And when it comes to what we should send to communities in need, our choice is simple.
We all want to feel safe when traveling. That's why if you see something that feels suspicious, such as an abandoned bag or erratic behavior from a passenger, just call 911. You can call anonymously, and it's okay if it turns out to be nothing. Work together with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey to keep our transportation facilities safe. Visit PANYNJ.gov to learn more.
For years, one company has battled to deliver business products the next day with no freight charges. Now, WB Mason, with their famous fleet of trucks and drivers, faces their biggest challenge, rescuing shipping and packaging buyers from expensive freight charges. That's right. Now, boxes, stretch film, and packaging tape are delivered the very next day at amazingly low prices. So, who do you call for fast delivery and no expensive freight charges? Who but WB Mason?
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
HCM is a serious heart condition affecting as many as 1 in 200 people, like me.
And me. I was still short of breath on my beta blocker.
So I talked to my cardiologist
and asked about treatment advances in HCM.
That talk made a real difference.
It gave me new hope.
Talk to your cardiologist today. Visit hcmrealtalk.com to learn more.
We're talking about John Sterling. He announced today, the Yankees announced that John has done his last game. We spoke on Saturday. He said he's just tired, and doesn't like the trip to the ballpark and the trip back. He loves doing the games, still loves sitting there doing the games, but it's just too much to have to be somewhere. He said, I'm going to be 86 on July 4th. And, a lot of people look at John as like, a homer broadcaster. And what I would ask them all to do is pull up a tape of the ninth inning, bottom of the ninth inning, Game 7 in 2001. And listen to the way he called Luis Gonzalez's hit that won the World Series for the Diamondbacks. You would think that he was a national broadcaster. And when it's that moment in a game, John Sterling could give you as good a call as anybody who's ever lived. With his voice, with his inflection, with the rhythm of the way he calls a game, he's an amazing broadcaster. So, yeah, did he want the Yankees to win? Of course he wanted the Yankees to win. And I told you I felt like that. But if the other team did something great in a big moment, he was just as excited because it was a big moment.
Also, listen, was he a little shticky with the whole Yankees win, and all that? Yes. And if you want to call that being a homer. But, Michael, I listened to enough Yankee baseball where he would sometimes hammer the team for not being able to get the runner to third with less than 2 outs,
yes.
or get a sacrifice like Susan. They're killing themselves here. How many runners have they left on base? Like, he could be as pointed and biting against the Yankees and critical of the Yankees. Now, when they won the game, he'd be over the top. But you're right, he still gave his all for every RBI or a home run or a great moment for the other team within reason. But he would be very critical of the team, Michael, very critical.
Absolutely. We are in the middle of Diamond Notes, brought to you by London Jewelers. Yankees could have swept last night, or swept the three-game series against the Guardians. Defense very sloppy. Anthony Volpe couldn't handle, would have been a game-ending double play. Then with the infield in, Torres couldn't handle a ground ball, would have gotten the out at home. Yankees could have won. Anthony Rizzo made 2 errors. He has 4 errors on the season. He had 4 errors all of last year. The Yankees as a team have 16 errors, and that's tied with the A's and the Red Sox for the most in baseball. So they got to clean that up. But, the bottom line is they're 12-4, so it's certainly hard to, complain. Mets took 2 out of 3 against the Royals. Yesterday was a beautiful ceremony, despite it being the rain. And Doc working without notes, too. Thought he gave a great speech. I
love that because he was speaking from the heart, because that's what he wanted to do, and he talked to us about how important communicating that message was to the fans when we had him on Friday. And the rain, might have kept a few people out of their seats. I know a lot has been made about it looking empty, but you saw how the ballpark filled up once the sun came out and the game was on. So I think a lot of people were getting some shelter before when the ceremony was going on. But even in the game they lost on Saturday, they were down 11-4. They made 11-5, 6, then 11-7. Got a couple of runners on in the ninth inning. Like, they don't go away, and that's a nice team right there to be able to say that. And after an 0-5 start, they're 7-3 since then. Only a game under 500. They've won a couple of series. They beat Cincinnati 2 out of 3. Beat Atlanta 2 out of 3. Took a series against Kansas City. So 7-3 since the 0-5 start.
See, there's life after rock bottom.
Well, it's funny. It's just the thing about baseball. It's just, we analyze it every day, but sometimes it's simply ridiculous. And so 0-5 was really bad, but that 0-5 could have easily been 2-3, and then you wouldn't have been panicking. But because it's 0-5, you naturally go into, oh my God, we're losing the season. Now this team is kind of exactly where you thought they would be.
Because if you look at series, like you look at games in the NFL, all right, they dropped the first couple of series. That's all it was after 0-5 was dropping the first 2 series, and now they've turned around and won the next 3 series.
Right, it's going from 0-2 in the NFL to 3-2.
Right. So just win series and just continue to find it. Pete Alonso's got 6 home runs, and he's starting to feel it now. I mean, Lindor's still in a bit of a malaise, but a little bit better than, his 0-75.
How about the fans giving him a standing ovation Friday, like the owner asked? That was cool.
Well, that's what Cohen asked. So, and then they did it. So let's see. This is going to be one of those seasons where there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, and I still don't know if the pitching is there. But you saw Diaz get his first first save at home since 2022, and they've gotten some okay starting pitching, but they should be able to hit, Michael. And I thought Buto was really good yesterday. Had 9 strikeouts in honor of Doc. He was striking out people the way Doc did back in the day. It was a fun weekend. It really was. And even in the game that they lost, they showed a little bit of heart and hung in there and made it interesting.
Let's go to PK in Montclair. PK.
Hey, Michael and team.
What's up?
How you guys doing?
What's up?
I originally had a Volpe point, but I just heard about this news with John Sterling, and I did want to comment on that. I mean, between Sterling and yourself, Michael, you guys were the soundtrack of my baseball, development.
Well, that's always a wonderful compliment to hear, and like I told Derek Jeter once, thank you for letting me piggyback on your greatness. Mm-hmm. So I mean, announcers become, I guess I shouldn't use the word famous because we're not famous, but they become more well known and well liked when you have great moments to call. And with the Yankees over these, 35 years, it's been great moment after great moment. So. We just happen to be in the right place at the right time.
It's so cool here in New York. I've complimented how we don't have any weak links. All the teams here in New York have great play-by-play announcers, but we've been very fortunate to have guys spend forever. Sam Rosen's been the Ranger TV guy since '84. Even Bob Papa, Michael, he took over 92, 93, so he's been the Giant announcer for 30 years. Bob's been the Jet announcer for over 20 years.
Breen's been the Nick announcer. He started the same year as me, so 33.
Yeah, going back to his radio days. Yep. Carino took over for Papa. He has to be doing it for over 20 years, Michael. Yep. So we've been very, very fortunate, the announcers that we've had. And when you hang around for that long, you're gonna make an impression on the fan base for sure.
Let's go to Richard in Manhattan.
Michael, Don, Peter, before I get to John, let me just say a word about Ken Holtzman.
Mm-hmm.
Holtzman was on the 76 Yankee team. He was a great Baltimore Oriole pitcher. Pitched in the 69 World Series. Ironically, Jerry Grody died last week, and now Holtzman. Both played in the 69 World Series. Holtzman, though, Billy Martin hated him, wouldn't let him pitch. He pitched Guidry, Rudy May, Figueroa, Doc Ellis, but he wouldn't pitch Holtzman. And Holtzman famously said, it's okay, I'm sitting in the bullpen, I'm still getting my money, because he had a big contract. But he was a very good pitcher for Baltimore, and he was I'll always remember him as being on my favorite Yankee team, that 76 team that came out of nowhere. Them more than the 94 team and the 2017 team. Those were the 3 Yankee teams that nobody expected anything, but a 76 team, of course, went to the World Series. Okay, as far as John goes, I started calling John John Sterling is like Lou Gehrig. He replaced a guy on WMCA AM named Jack Spector, and it was supposed to be a summer replacement thing. Spector was but they had sports call-ins in the 60s. I think Stan Lomax, and there were a couple other guys on WOR.
Bill Mazer.
Bill Mazer, right? Amazing. But that was more Stump Mazer. He asked him a question. But there was another guy. I forgot his name. Not Lomax, but another guy. I forgot his name. Anyway, so John replaced Jack Spector, who went on to do country music when it was in its infancy. Country music. I forget on which station. Anyway, but John was about 35, 36, and 72. He was tough on young kids. I was 16, 17 years old. I'd call up, and he would rip you if he didn't like what you said. Oh, that's a childish thing to say. Or how sophomoric are you? And he was rough. He didn't suffer fools gladly, that's for sure. But like I always said, him and Susan on the radio, and I'd be reading my New York Post with a coffee and a bagel. Forget about it. That was the best thing you can do in New York. His voice was great, and he certainly wasn't pro-Yankee. He'd get angry at Boone for taking pitches out. He would say, oh, of course they're going to take the pitcher out. He got 3 in a row and threw 7 pitches. Why shouldn't they take him out? He was funny.
Well, you know what it was too, Richard? He wanted the Yankees to win, but he was not reluctant to criticize them. So, when I think of a homer, it's when they're trying to make chicken salad out of chicken whatever. Never did that. If they were playing poorly or they didn't move a runner over, he destroyed them. he was happy when they won. So if you call that, I'd like to know what broadcaster's not happy when the team they're broadcasting. You know who we left out too? Ian Eagle's going to 30 years with the Nets.
That's crazy.
And Howie Rose. Did we say Howie?
Yeah, well, Howie was doing Mets Extra back in the late 80s, and then he was at MSG for a while. So he's been doing Mets play-by-play for over 30 years. He's been with the Mets, Michael, for 40, going back to Mets Extra days. Literally every team. But there's been an announcer with them for a very, very long time. It's and even guys that were, like I said, Bob Murphy did it from 62 to retired at the end of the 03 season. Like forever, these guys. Kenny's been doing radio for the Rangers since '95, so he's going on 30 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, I remember when I was talking to John. I said, John, you got to be sure. You know, you can't get these jobs back. He said, no, I'm sure. I'm good. So he kept saying he was good. So you know, you know why people keep it so long? They're great jobs.
Yeah.
And you know, you don't want to give it up. I mean, what saddened me, certainly not trying to make this about me, is that there is an end. You know, you think this is going to go on forever? You know, you think John's going to be the Yankee announcer forever. You don't think that age catches up with people. And at some point, you know, even Vince Scully retired. You know, he did it when he was 96, but it's sad. I mean, there's a certain number that you reach, you go, wow, I'm way closer to the end than I was to the beginning. So it's sobering. But that's the way life is, too.
But it's very sad, and it's also the best kind of sadness that you can hope for.
How so?
Because if your whole life goes perfectly, you get to retire from your dream job at 86.
Yeah.
That's called as good as it could possibly go. Now, listen, as good as you possibly goes, your parents die peacefully in their 90s. That doesn't make it not sad when it happens. But it's sort of the best kind of sad you can hope for.
I'm also told that Carino and Capshaw full-time when Yes started, so they just finished their 22nd season. And do you know that Capshaw the other day announced his 1900th consecutive game? Could that be? 1900?
I was shocked by that. Yeah, 19. Yeah. I saw the same tweet. Yeah. 1900 consecutive.
Never missed a game.
Back to 02. He's great. Those guys are great. You talk about, you know, Mona Lisa in a garage, just because the Nets have, you know, really this year not very good. And in Ian, when you look at the TV and the radio for the Nets, you know, a team that doesn't have a championship, and it's now been 20 years since they were competing for one, to have announcers like that, tremendous. Carino is so good.
He's really good. He's really, and you know,
I worked with him at Sports Phone back in the day.
He gets to do games on Yes as well. When Ian and Ryan are not doing the game, they have Carino do it. So, yeah, he's tremendous.
And just to throw out too, Michael, and I text him after. I want to give a shout out to Pat O'Keefe because he got thrown into a situation. Believe me, he loved it. that he got the opportunity. Unfortunately, under the tough circumstances with Ed Cohen's situation, and he ended up doing every game down the stretch and some amazing games. He had a great game yesterday, getting a chance to do the playoffs. So good job out of Pat O'Keefe too, taking advantage of an opportunity and killing it.
You know what I was thinking about too, Don? If the Knicks and the Rangers win a championship, you're going to get 2 rings. You did games for both of them.
I don't think I'll get one.
Am I right, Peter? Am I right?
He should.
I don't believe I'll get one.
Why not?
Well, that would be a shame. You deserve 2. You've been a part of both.
I did 7 Knick games.
How many Ranger?
20. And then
7's almost 10% of the season.
Yeah, no. Ranger, you got to get.
And also the pre and post.
That's what I'm saying. That's the whole season.
Hey, the hardest thing about getting into shape is taking it.
Growing up, I always wanted to do so many things.
I wanted to be a vet.
I wanted to be an actor.
When I was really little, I don't know why, but I wanted to be a pastor. When I was like a small child.
I wanted to be a celebrity, like by any means necessary.
This is Spike Drop Vegas Heist.
These players, they're playing for a lot of money today.
I'm only here for a 2-peat. I don't really care about any other place.
My dad is a gamer.
My dad.
My brother.
My mom.
My grandmother.
My dad's a big gamer, still is.
People will either like me or they will hate me, and I think that's fine. I'm okay with that.
I can't even comprehend what is going on, but I like it.
New season, new reasons to say yes.
This is star power.
Wow. Cole dials it up. What a home run for Soto. Aaron Judge crushes one. Get all the Yankees action. The Yes app.
It's going to feel like home. It's going to be electric.
This is the Yankees flexing their muscles.
I think he's just going to elevate everybody in that lineup.
He has the right demeanor to pitch in the Bronx.
When you play in New York, the expectation is to win a championship.
This is the Yankees being the Yankees.
Me. Just ask my rescues, who are all very important members of my family. Your life can also be forever changed by adopting a shelter pet. And it's not just about happiness your pet gets from finding a loving home, but that which you'll get from bringing them into your life. The heroes at American Humane have been helping animals for more than 140 years, whether it's rescuing animals caught in disasters, ensuring the safety of animal stars on screen, or protecting our planet's endangered species. They go above and beyond to further their mission and make the world a kinder place for animals. Please consider adopting a shelter pet and support American Humane. You can learn more at AmericanHumane.org.
The Michael Kay Show on Yes is presented by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
Is it possible to be more capable and more practical? Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road, as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, Mel. Is now good for a quick catch-up on your plan?
Yes, now's great.
Refinance now or refinance later? Here are 10 tips to make your...
Needless to say, your money could be working so much harder.
Yes, I'm thinking more long-term.
Interest rates will remain at current levels.
Great. We'll make that change to your plan and adjust as needed.
This helps a lot.
Bye, Mel.
Bye.
We're dogs out here. There was barking in the dugout.
¿Qué color? Perfecto, mijo.
Gracias. Thank you.
What's wrong, mijo?
Donating to a pet's medical care is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Sarah, you've got this. Okay? lost.
Not really. Not where it counts.
All true. If you just got out of work, John Sterling and the Yankees have announced that John has done his last game. They're going to have a ceremony for him on Saturday, a Saturday afternoon's game at the stadium. So kind of an end of an era. 36 years behind the mic for the Yankees. Pretty amazing. That's a longer stretch than Mel. I was thinking about Phil. I said it's a longer stretch. Phil was 57. He started in 57. And I think his last year was 1996. So Phil might still be the longest tenured.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
And, you talk about the other things that he did, Michael, and we didn't hear it in New York, but if you ever see, like on MLB or some kind of classic, the July 4th Braves-Mets game, when Rick Camp hit the home run, they went 19 innings, Sterling's on the call for the Braves. Yep. And again, New York didn't get it, but if you ever see a replay of that game, they always play the Braves feed, and it's Sterling from 1985.
Yeah, he's kind of like Zelig. He's been around a long time.
He really has.
Let's go to John in Mount Vernon. John.
Hey, John.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you, John?
I'm good. I got a couple of stories and one personal story, but I remember when John came over from Atlanta. It used to drive me crazy because the Yankees weren't very good at that time, and he would constantly say, when I was with the Braves, and he used to drive me nuts. But he won me over. I'll never forget. I was on White Plains Road and Gun Hill Road, and Bernie Williams hit a home run and something. It was a Sunday, and that was the first time I heard him say, "Burn, baby, burn." And
John, that was the first time he did that. I was with him that day. That was the first time he started doing that. Burn, baby, burn was the first one.
Yeah, well, and that's what I remember. And so he won me over with that. And by the way, I went to high school with Kenny Singleton. We stick the same bus.
Oh, really?
Vernon. And I coached James Rowson for 1 year. And if you ever get him on, ask him about his father. His father was a tremendous New York Giant football fan, as you can think. Anyway, and my personal note about John is I have a tremendous friend. I'm a big Yankee fan. This guy was bigger than me. Season ticket holder, went to many games with him. He passed away this week. And just his name's also John. It just seems sort of, of course, John Sterling, thank God, has not passed away, but it just seems sort of full circle the way life works that John has stepped down 5 days after my friend John stepped down. So,
well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your loss, John. Yeah, that's all. I was with John in Seattle. John was like a confirmed bachelor, and he met this girl, Jennifer.
Okay.
And I remember I came down early in the morning. I don't know why I was up early in the morning. And John slept in past noon every day. And he was scurrying across the hallway, the lobby of the hotel in Seattle with 24 roses. I said, well, John, what are you doing? I met the girl I'm going to marry, Michael. I said, what? He go, oh, yes, this is the one. And he ended up marrying her, and they had 4 children. I mean, they've since split up, but they still remain very, very close. And I went to their wedding. It was amazing.
Wait, when are we talking about?
Oh, but goodbye to yes. They're going to the pregame.
Wake up, Flip.
That's a wrap on the show for today. Coming up next, our coverage of the Yankees and Blue Jays gets underway with Yankees batting practice today. For all of us here on the Michael K. Show, this is Chris Sheeran saying have a great night. We'll see you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. This program is brought to you in part by the New York Lottery. Get out there and play. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 or over.
one fantastic ride. The turbocharged, tech-inspired Kia Forte.
Best 2 out of 3?
Lease the new 2024 Forte LXS for $189 a month.